Do you really think your cat only listens when they hear the sound of a food bag opening? Think again. A groundbreaking study from Sophia University proves that your cat actually understands specific words you use every day. They even secretly remember the names of the other cats living in your house. But here's a critical red flag. There's one very common word on this list that you might be using incorrectly, and it's silently destroying your cat's trust in you without you even realizing it. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to our channel and join our community of cat lovers. Number 1. They know their own names. Have you ever called your cat's name, watched them look straight at you, blink slowly, and then casually stroll off in the opposite direction? You might think they didn't understand or were simply ignoring you. But the truth is, they do understand, absolutely. As we briefly mentioned earlier, researchers at Sophia University have shattered our long-held assumptions about feline intelligence. Specifically, in 2019, researcher Atsuko Saito and her team published an extensive study that completely changed the world of cat behavior. They tested dozens of household cats and discovered something remarkable. They proved that cats can clearly distinguish their own names from random everyday words, and even from words that sound almost identical. So if your cat understands their name perfectly, why don't they always come running when you call? It all comes down to their evolutionary history. Cats simply aren't wired to respond like dogs. Dogs have been selectively bred for centuries to be completely obedient. Cats, on the other hand, were never bred to obey anyone. When your cat hears you call their name, they instantly make a calculated decision. They weigh whether responding is truly worth their time and energy based on what usually happens next. If calling their name often leads to something wonderful, like a tasty treat, a fun play session, or gentle affection, they're very likely to come running. But if it usually leads to being scooped up for a bath or stuffed into a carrier for a stressful vet visit, don't hold your breath. Your cat knows exactly what you're saying. They simply decide for themselves whether you're worth responding to in that moment. Now that you understand this psychology, you can completely transform your daily interactions. Starting today, make a conscious effort to only call your cat's name when it's directly tied to an extremely positive experience. Offer an exciting toy, give them a chin scratch, or hand over a delicious treat right away. Stop using their name right before scolding them or clipping their nails. Let's run a quick at-home experiment. Later today, try calling your cat's name from across the room when you're not holding any food. Do they turn their head to look at you or completely ignore you? Drop a comment below and let us know. If your cat already knows their own name and actively decides when it's worth answering you, what else are they quietly absorbing from your everyday conversations? The next phrase they understand will permanently change the way you set boundaries in your home. Number 2, they know what the word no means. Have you ever seen your cat freeze right as they're about to scratch your favorite armchair or knock a glass off the kitchen counter? You firmly say that 2-letter word and they stop instantly. It's easy to believe they've finally learned the house rules and understand they're misbehaving. But from an evolutionary perspective, cats aren't born with an innate understanding of human morals or property damage. They certainly don't feel guilt. Instead, they're reacting to a sudden, sharp change in your vocal signal. When you raise your voice, they respond strictly to the harsh tone, the sudden spike in volume, and the intense negative emotion coming from your body. In nature, loud, unexpected noises signal danger. It's a primal instinct hardwired into them to pause and avoid an immediate, unpredictable threat. Your cat has learned this through negative association. When they hear that specific harsh sound, they recognize that something unpleasant is about to happen. They stop the behavior simply to avoid escalating discomfort. This is exactly where so many loving cat owners make a critical mistake. If you overuse this negative word, yelling or repeating it aggressively every time you're frustrated, your cat isn't learning discipline. They're learning intense fear. Over time, they start associating you with unpredictable stress. Eventually, you'll notice them hiding more or flinching away when you simply reach out to pet them. You're unintentionally rewiring their brain to see you as a source of anxiety instead of a safe haven. Type yes in the comments if you've ever seen your furry friend freeze the moment you use that stern tone. To fix this dynamic, you have to completely change your daily approach. From now on, use that boundary word extremely sparingly. Say it once, in a low, calm, firm voice. Don't yell, and never repeat it 5 or 6 times in a row. The second your cat stops the unwanted behavior, immediately redirect their attention to an appropriate alternative, like a sturdy scratching post or a feather toy. Even more important, start focusing heavily on positive reinforcement throughout the day. Make a conscious effort to praise and reward your cat twice as much when they're doing the right thing. Cats learn remarkably fast with rewarding experiences, far faster than with harsh punishment. Building a relationship based on fear is never the goal, and avoiding discomfort is definitely not the only way to shape their habits. In fact, there's another phrase that triggers a remarkably strong positive response. It may be the most powerful behavioral motivator in the entire feline world. Number 3. They know what the word treat means. Have you ever wondered why your cat stares at you so intensely the moment you say that word? Or maybe you've noticed that you can whisper it from 3 closed-door rooms away, and somehow your cat magically appears at your feet. They sit there looking up, acting like they've been patiently waiting in that exact spot all day. It feels almost like a magic trick. But this isn't magic, it's pure science. Cats learn to recognize this word through a deep psychological mechanism called classical conditioning. It's exactly the process that scientist Ivan Pavlov documented in detail over a century ago. When a specific sound from your mouth is always followed by an incredibly satisfying outcome, your cat's brain builds an automatic, unbreakable neural connection between the 2 events. That spoken word literally becomes the equivalent of food in their mind. No complex thinking or decision-making is required. It simply becomes a programmed biological reflex. Here's the best part. You don't need to be a professional trainer running vocabulary classes for cats. You just happily say the word right before giving a delicious treat. Repeat that sequence consistently, and your cat does the rest of the cognitive work. They make the connection lightning fast because, unlike the primal fear we just discussed, high-value food is the ultimate positive motivator in the feline world. On top of that, their observation skills are so sharp that they often expand this vocabulary on their own. Many cats begin reacting to a whole invisible chain of subtle environmental cues. They remember the distinctive crinkle of plastic packaging, the soft click of the cabinet door, or even the familiar rhythm of your footsteps heading toward the kitchen at a specific time of day. They've built an entire sophisticated prediction system you never even noticed. Because your cat's brain is perfectly wired to form these strong connections, you should start using it to your advantage every day. From today forward, use this positive link intentionally to build excellent habits. Always say the word clearly right before you reward them, strengthening that predictable pattern. You can use this reliable switch to easily lure them out of stressful hiding spots and turn a difficult struggle into a low-pressure, rewarding interaction. Although food is an incredibly strong motivator, their silent observation skills go far beyond just tracking the next meal. In fact, the way they quietly listen to your conversations, even when you're not talking directly to them, is really remarkable. Number 4. They know the names of the other cats in your house. If you live with more than one cat, have you ever called one cat's name and noticed the other one immediately perk up? Maybe they tilt their ears, stare straight at the roommate you're calling, or glance toward the hallway where your furry housemate usually walks. You've probably brushed it off as pure coincidence, thinking they're just curious about the random noise you made. But it's not a coincidence at all. In 2022, a research team led by Saho Takagi at Kyoto University in Japan published a fascinating study that stunned the entire animal behavior community. They scientifically proved that cats living in multi-cat households actively learn and recognize the specific names of their housemates. To test this, the researchers played audio recordings of one cat's name while showing either a photo of the correct cat or a completely different cat on a screen. When the wrong face appeared, the cats in the study stared significantly longer. In behavioral science, that prolonged gaze indicates a clear cognitive mismatch. They had heard the specific sound, fully expected to see a certain housemate, and were genuinely confused when the image didn't match the database in their brain. Think about the massive processing power this requires from your cat. Unlike the food-triggered biological reflex we just discussed, this is pure observational skill. Your cat sits quietly in the background, carefully analyzing your daily interactions and building a complex mental map of your entire household. They know exactly who is who. They've smoothly connected distinct phonetic sounds to physical faces, without anyone ever training them to do it. They simply figured it out by living with you and paying close attention to the subtle social patterns you create without even realizing it. The next time your crew is hanging out, try playing detective. Call one cat's name and secretly watch the eyes and ears of the others to see exactly how they react when their sibling is summoned. Do they look over? Maybe they'll even let out a soft meow or shift position to watch the interaction. Record a short video of their reaction and be sure to tag us on social media so we can see your brilliant feline detectives in action. This incredible level of deep understanding is the perfect setup for our final point. If they pay this much attention to household dynamics, it makes perfect sense that they also deeply evaluate your emotional connection with them. The most important phrase on this list is the ultimate test of your relationship. Number 5, they know what the phrase "come here" means. Have you ever sat on the other side of the living room, gently said "come here," and watched in amazement as your companion actually stands up and walks straight into your arms? Most cat owners just smile and chalk it up to a lucky moment. But the truth is that your cat may have understood this exact 2-word phrase far longer than you realize. Unlike the food-triggered biological reflex or the pure observational skills used to recognize housemates, this phrase taps into a completely different and highly advanced part of their brain. Cats aren't born with an instinct to understand this human request. Instead, they process it through deep emotional intelligence. They learn the real meaning of this phrase through hundreds of tiny daily interactions. You say those words, and then you offer gentle, soothing touch. You say the phrase, and they end up resting safely in a warm, comfortable environment. They didn't learn this from a rigid textbook or a survival instinct. They learned it directly from your actions. When your cat hears this phrase and chooses to walk toward you, they are not obeying a strict command like a well-trained soldier. They are deeply evaluating the shared emotional history between the two of you. They are physically showing that every past experience connected to those specific words has made them feel so safe that they want to come back for more affection. This phrase is the ultimate measure of your entire relationship. If you're watching this video right now, pause for exactly 3 seconds, gently call your cat over, and comment "meow" below to let us know exactly how they respond. However, this brings us straight to the dangerous red flag we firmly warned you about at the very beginning of this investigation. If your cat never comes near you when you use this phrase, or worse, if they actively back away and hide, it's a serious behavioral warning sign. It often means you've unintentionally broken their fragile trust. Sometimes, the very rush to protect them, like forcing medication or taking them to the vet, accidentally turns a loving phrase into an alarm bell for upcoming betrayal. To repair this seriously damaged bond, you have to completely rewrite their emotional database. Starting today, every single time your cat walks toward you after you say, "Come here," immediately reward them. Give them a gentle chin scratch or an irresistible little treat. Never use this phrase to trick them into a stressful situation again. Be extremely patient as you rebuild that trust. And once the defensive barrier is removed, you'll be amazed at how quickly your cat reads you. In fact, their brain has already automatically memorized 3 more golden keywords: food, brush, and outside. Teaching them these words is incredibly simple. Just repeat the word along with the action consistently for 1 to 2 weeks, and your cat's brain will start responding like magic. Cats' understanding of human language is truly astonishing, but the way they communicate back to us through body language, especially their tails, is a whole mysterious world of its own. Watch this video where we break down 10 tail movements that reveal your cat's true emotions. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and join the community of cat lovers.